If Chris says anything lower than a 4, he's fired.
Wow. Where did you get the authority to fire me? Who gave you that authority?
Listen, think about it. Rethink. Every time you encounter new information,
Yes.
you have a choice. You can attach your opinions to your identity and stand your ground in stubbornness, or you can operate more like a scientist, defining yourself as a person committed to the truth, even if it means proving yourself wrong.
There was a funny anecdote he told in the story actually, where I think he was trying to do something and someone recommended his book to him. Do you remember that? So the guy was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm struggling with this, I'm trying to think in this sort of way. And the guy was like, oh, you should read this book.
Yeah.
What's the book called? Oh, Think Again. And obviously it's his own book.
Psychologists find that admitting we were wrong doesn't make us look less competent. It's a display of honesty and willingness to learn. Welcome to The Power of Pages, where we review books that ignite your mind,
Elevate your life.
and drive your ambition. And I go by Ty.
I'm Mr. Fly.
And this episode, we are reviewing Think Again by Adam Grant. And this was my pick.
Yes.
And I'm glad I picked it.
Yeah. No, you know, as am I. What made you pick this book?
This was a gift, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a
It's
gift.
funny, a lot of people buy you books now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's
So-
an easy gift, isn't it?
And I think, who got it? I think my missus got it for me. And yeah, I think she just Googled it.
Did you know what it was about when you...
Nothing, no clue. They had no expectation. I thought, Think Again, the title.
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably about thinking again or thinking differently.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's pretty much what it's about, but in a much more constructive and elaborate way.
You know what I liked?
Go on.
Just quickly, the when I was reading it, I was like, raw. Then I took a proper look at the front cover. And obviously it's a light match with a water as the flame.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise that till like halfway through. And I was like, oh, that's actually sick.
I didn't realise that
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
now. You just said it. Yeah.
I lie? So yeah, sorry, a little side note. But yeah, that was banging, yeah.
Yes, emphasising thinking again. Why can't a matchstick have water on it? I mean, obviously, that defies the logics of science, but thinking constructively like that.
Yeah.
And that's what...
Breaking outside of like the constructs of, your regular thing. It's like going against the grain, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, Adam Grant, don't really know who he is outside of this book, but he's actually quite well known. There was a funny anecdote he told in the story actually, where I think he was trying to do something and someone recommended his book to him. Did you remember that? Yeah. So the guy was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm struggling with this, I'm trying to think in this sort of way. And the guy was like, oh, you should read this book. Yeah. What's the book called? Oh, Think Again. And obviously it's his own book.
That's funny, man. Yeah.
Where did you want to start?
I think I want to start with like an example of thinking again and how not being constructive with thoughts within the firefighter community costed lives in a particular situation. But this was back in the day. I think the fire, I can't remember when it was, but the Man Gulch wildfire. So 15 smoke jumpers were called to a wildfire. The fire got out of control and they had to run away. So while they're running, one of the smoke jumpers told everyone, don't run, come with me, don't run. Basically, they can't outrun the fire. So he's told them, don't run, come with me. And he built like a ring of fire as a defense. So I don't know what he did, but he put whatever around so that he was trapped inside the fire, but the fire couldn't get to him, basically. So he built a ring of fire because he knew he couldn't outrun it. Yeah. So he built a ring of fire as a defense, and then he laid in the middle of it until it went out. And the others didn't know what he was doing. Yeah. So he's like, wait, come, stay with me. But they're seeing the fire, so they're just like, nope, I'm running.
Yeah, and instinctively as well.
Instinctively, but so they didn't know what he was doing. So in the 1880s, scientists had been researching the importance of wildfires in the life cycles of forests. But it wasn't until 1978 that the Forest Service put an end to its policy to put out every fire by 10 a.m. the next day. So the policy of the forest people was every wildfire, we need to put it out
by 10
a.m. the following day.
Okay.
But actually, wildfires are good for the land in certain areas.
Yeah.
Now, the Man Gulch wildfire took place in an area where there was no threat to human life. So if the fire carried on, like, there was no humans, so no one was going to be die, or like there was no danger. But because of their policy, they had to go and put out this fire by 10 a.m. the next day. But actually, they didn't need to, because there was no threat to human life.
Yeah, but I think there's other threats, isn't it? Like maybe to the environment.
But what they're saying is it's actually good for the environment, these wildfires, because it helps to refertilize the soil, etc.
Okay.
So the smoke jumpers were called in anyway because nobody had done enough to question the assumption that wildfires should not be allowed to run their course. So nobody questioned, well, actually, this fire is in this area, you know, there's no danger. Let's just leave it. Yeah. Because it's not going to blow up anything. It's not
there's no immediate danger.
There's no danger. Like, why don't we just leave it? No one questioned that. And instead, the firefighters went and tried to put it out. But sadly, I can't remember how many it was, but sadly, many of them lost their lives because they didn't rethink that. Yeah. And then secondly, what they also didn't rethink was, I guess this is harder in the moment, but the firefighter who created the circle where he could just chill while the fire was going on around him, he had so much knowledge and experience that he knew he could do that. Yeah. Whereas the others didn't think like that. They didn't know.
They're just following protocol.
They're following protocol and just running away. And then the other thing on top of that was that when they were running away, they didn't like throw away their equipment. They held on to their fire equipment. They didn't throw it away to make them lie. Like, some people actually got away, but they just was running with all their equipment because they believe it to be a part of their identity, and they didn't want to let go of it. Well, that's the theory behind it. So anyway, the point I'm making is the forest service then refought and changed their policy
after that incident.
After that, and now they approach it in different ways. So what other situations in our lives are we not thinking about? Are we not questioning enough? And this book kind of goes on to questioning that a lot. And there'll be other examples that we'll touch on. But that was the first example. I was like, damn, man.
Yeah, I don't even remember that part. So I was like, you remember that wicked? I was like, you're talking, I'm trying to remember. I don't really remember that part. But I think it shows, you have to always be constantly testing and questioning your theories. Do you know what I mean? That's what it boils down to. And that goes, these things are applicable in life, as in business life, work life, personal life, family life, but also, in the general public and whatnot. So, and I think there's always, especially with what happens is with big systems, i.e. the smoke jumpers or fire brigade or fire service, things become entrenched. And this is how, and it even mentions this in the book. We've always done it this way. Yeah. This is what we've always done. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean it's right, because improvements can be made. So that's I think a great example of that. One of the things that I liked in the book, I think he spoke about in chapter 1, a preacher, a prosecutor, a politician, and a scientist. And this is more so about your mindset when you're dealing with anything, really. So, this is a Phil Tetlock is the person that sort of came up with this ideology. And it says, when we talk, we slip into one of 3 mindsets. So, did you take this down? Do you want to do one for one?
No.
Yeah. So you've got a preacher. When scared, beliefs are in jeopardy. We deliver sermons to protect and promote our ideas. So that just means if me and you are having a debate or disagreement about something, and I feel you might be right, I just overpower you and just overtalk you. I preach to you. So now, and what happens generally is one of a few things is people will either, if it was me and you now, you'd either just shut down and just be like, you're not listening, you're just letting me talk, because you're like, well, he's not listening anyway, so just let him talk. This is what we do. Or you fight back and rage back, and now we're just 2 people preaching at one another. You say your point, I say my point. You say your point, I say my point. And I think you see that quite a lot, especially online. And then you've got a prosecutor. When we recognize flaws in other people's reasoning, we marshal arguments to prove them wrong and win our case. So again, it's like, I've seen this so much, where 2 people are having a disagreement. Again, say we're having a disagreement or having a discussion, or we're trying to figure something out, and I'm trying to prove you wrong, or you're trying to prove me wrong, or we're trying to get to the truth, and then you make a mistake. So imagine something happened on Thursday, but accidentally you say Tuesday. Then I just drill down on you. Whoa, it wasn't Thursday, it was Tuesday. Do you see what I mean? So that is the prosecutor. So I'll just, any little slips, like, I'm not collaborating with you. I'm just trying to prove you wrong. I'm trying to win the argument.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't care about the truth. I don't care about the outcome. I just want to win this argument. And okay, you can win the argument. Doesn't necessarily mean, doesn't change anything. But so that's the prosecutor. And then you've got the politician. When we're seeking to win over an audience, we campaign and lobby for approval from out of our constituents. So again, say if we were having a debate, again, it's you and I, but there's a third person here, I might just be pandering to them, trying to get them on my side, trying to convince them really, because, and you might actually be right, but I'm just being political about it. You trying to pander to them to get them to agree with me, or trying to influence them in that way. So those are the three mindsets that we typically fall into.
I got two more here, or the mental models. Maybe that's a different section.
I think that's different.
But I also put the scientist.
Yeah, that's the one he adds on.
And then the cult leader.
I didn't take a note.
Okay, so I'll just touch on them quickly.
Yeah.
The cult leader is basically, I'm always right. Like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a dictator.
Yeah.
And the scientist.
Yeah, that's the one that he thinks we should lean into. But yeah, go for it.
No, all I have here is the scientist is, I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, let me think about this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Test my hypothesis.
Yeah.
Essentially. And I think that's the best way that you should that's the best way to never get caught out, I think, as well. And it's the best way to learn. It's the best way to kind of enter a debate. It's easier said than done, because depending on the topic and the subject matter, how emotionally tied you are to your ideologies and stuff like that. But you should always kind of be trying to prove yourself wrong, trying to test your hypothesis. So yeah, scientific thinking is staying curious and testing your hypotheses, looking for reasons why you could be wrong, literally what I just said.
Yeah.
So scientific thinking favors humility over pride, doubt over certainty, and curiosity over closure. So again, if I've got a scientific mindset and you've got a preacher mindset, you might say something that's actually, it doesn't mean you're going to be wrong about what you're saying, but then I'll be like, oh yeah, actually I didn't think of it that way. And then I might come in. So it's not so much about winning debates or winning arguments. It's about your mindset and how you go into something. And I think the more open you are, the more likely you are to kind of improve yourself, whether it's, again, depending on what the situation is. Exercise is a very good example. People might say, this is the way you train for this. You want to run a marathon, you want to win a bodybuilding competition, you want to lose weight, you want to whatever it might be, this is the way to do it. Well, not really. There's maybe other ways to do it as well, what I mean. But yeah, it depends how tightly held you are to your ideologies. Yeah.
What it says in the book is, if we're certain that we know something, we have no reason to look for gaps and flaws in our knowledge, let alone fill or correct them. And there was a study. In one study, the people who scored the lowest on emotional intelligence test weren't just the most likely to overestimate their skills, they were also the most likely to dismiss their skills as inaccurate or irrelevant, and the least likely to invest in coaching or self-improvement.
Yep. There's a is it called the Dunning-Kruger effect? I don't think he talks about it in this book. He might mention it, but essentially it's the more you think you know about something, the more likely you are to make a mistake around it. Because if we go into something and we're talking about whatever the subject might be, and you're super confident that you might, a little bit of knowledge is sometimes a bad thing, because you think, oh wow, right, I know these 3 things. There might be 100 things, but because you know 3 things, you think you're an expert on it. And I might know, out of the 100, I might know 70. But because I know so much, I'm aware of how much I don't actually know. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I might be like, so when it's the Dunning-Kruger effect, I think it's called.
Okay.
But the more you think you know, it's actually risky to you, because you're not learning, because then you close yourself off like, no, I know everything about that subject.
Yeah.
I don't even think, is it even possible to know everything about anything, like everything?
Yeah.
You have to always have that gate open, that there's still, I think, I got this when we used to train boxing, and you speak to some people that are boxing that have just started, they're the most confident, overconfident people. And it's like, wow, yeah, there's you got a lot to learn. Do you see what I mean? And it's only over time where they can realize, okay, and that can go for anything, any subject matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, the preacher, the politician, and the prosecutor, I think the scientist is the best way to be, because that's how you're going to continuously keep learning and have collaborative conversations, because you want to enter situations, whether that be work or whether it might be where you are learning, where you are listening to people and people are listening to you. Iron sharpens iron, as they say.
What's up, Power of Pagers? If you've made it this far into the episode, big up yourself. And as a loyal Power of Pager, we value you. That's why we've created our mailing list to keep you updated on what we're reading, get your input and feedback on books that we should read, and let you know about any behind the scenes events that we may run or be a part of. If you'd like to be an official part of the Power of Pages community, head to the link in the description box and join our free mailing list. You don't want to miss out. But for now, back to the book review, and thanks for being a Power of Pager.
The chapter, The Joy of Being Wrong.
Yeah.
I've got in my notes here, love this. Love this. And I just love things that make me think, and I love when people rethink their own thoughts. When people challenge themselves and admit that they're wrong, and can look into themselves and think, oh, maybe I might be wrong here.
Yeah.
And I like that because I like to try and think like that. You know, it's not always possible, but there was there's something called forecasting tournaments.
Okay.
And these tournaments these forecasters have to challenge their own beliefs and continuously question themselves to predict the future. Now, John Pierre Boogums, hopefully I pronounced his name correctly, he correctly predicted that Donald Trump would win the elections based on the media and his reputation. But closer to the election, he changed his prediction due to his desirability bias.
Yes. What's that?
So he didn't want Donald Trump to win.
Yeah.
He desired Donald Trump not to win. Therefore, it changed his mindset into him getting the prediction correct.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want him to win, so no, he's not going to win.
So he started to look for reasons as to why he wouldn't win. Yeah.
He started to look for reasons as to why he might not win. So he didn't get it right in the end. But he learned from this, and he did his best to keep emotion out of future predictions, and realized, that our emotions play a massive part of logic. And
impacts.
Yeah, so
it puts a bias on it.
It puts a bias in it.
Sorry, go on.
No, so I guess this is just to challenge the viewers and also myself and you. Like, just because we desire something to be true, it doesn't mean that it is true or it's going to be true. Like, we need to challenge that thought and challenge
But
it.
that can also reinforce, because I think what I like to do, like online and stuff, I like debates. Actually, I like watching debates because I like that mental battle, that mental challenge. Seeing how you have to think on the spot and stuff like that. I enjoy it, but I also watch a lot of things that go against my ideology because I want to. There's opportunity to learn there, and then two is just kind of seeing how, because you can. It's very much as well online. Again, you can become like in an echo chamber where you just see the world through this lens, and this is right, and everything you see, everything you see backs up your original beliefs. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like sometimes even like I'll watch some videos where people are having debates about various things, and the exact same clip told from the opposite side, like it's like rare. This clip, these people are saying this about this situation, this happened. Yeah. And then the same thing, this side saying this. So it's like, when you're seeing it from both sides, it's like they're literally the same thing, two different perspectives, two different sort of I don't know, two different ways of talking about it and explaining what happened. So yeah, that's quite interesting. But I think one of the worst things that can happen, and it happens so much now, and I think for the worst as well. Yeah, no, definitely for the worst is you go into an echo chamber, you see the world. The world is this way. Yeah. The world is this way. Look, here's all my proof. Here's all the evidence. This is what's happening. Well, my friend, you need to read Adam Grant and think again. Do you know what I'm saying? You need to think. You need to read Adam Grant because it's it's quite risky, especially with like young minds. I mean, obviously, I'm talking a bit from my kind of what I do in my day to day, talking to young people, seeing, and not even young people, my team as well, and seeing the way they assess their life and their hypothesis on life, and they just see things, black and white. This is the way it is, and there's always that little nuance of grey. Yeah. But again, I'm saying that as like a middle-aged man, I guess. So it took me time. Maybe it takes a bit of time to get there.
Yeah. Damn, you're middle-aged now. Yeah?
Don't worry, you'll catch up. You'll catch up. And listen, I wear it with pride, bro.
Yeah, good. It's good to hear, man. It's good to hear. And you're not quite middle aged yet.
Getting there.
The life expectancy's gone up.
Anyway,
and stuff,
think again.
So I might challenge you to think again your middle aged, bracket.
Take
Because,
it on board. I'll take that.
Not yet.
I'll take that.
There was another example that he gave that again. There were lots of examples in this book that I loved, man.
Yeah.
I really loved. But there's a British physicist called Andrew Lyne, and he published a major discovery in the world's most prestigious science journal. He presented the first evidence that a planet could orbit a neuron star.
Okay.
Yeah? Months later, while preparing for a speech at an astronomy conference, he realized he was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So he's got this research.
Yeah.
He's published it in the...
Yeah, that's mad.
And everyone now thinks that, he's revolutionized this industry.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then while he's preparing, he's realized he's missed something.
That's mad.
Now he's wrong.
Yeah.
In front of hundreds of colleagues, he walked onto the stage and admitted he was wrong.
Wow.
And he got a standing ovation.
Pick up yourself, bruv. What's his
He got
name?
a standing ovation. Andrew Lyne.
Bro.
Let me just finish up
Yeah,
quickly.
sorry.
One astrophysicist called it the most honourable thing they've ever seen.
Yeah, big up yourself.
And then the last thing to add on it, psychologists find that admitting we were wrong doesn't make us look less competent. It's a display of honesty and willingness to learn.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
Wow. That takes guts, man.
In front of hundreds of people,
Yeah.
you've published in the science journal that's gone worldwide, and now you've realised, I've messed up.
That's
And you've stepped on stage. You know what? Sorry, everyone. I know this event's about this new revolutionary thing that we found.
About to change the game.
But actually, it's not revolutionary because I was wrong.
Yeah, that's big. But you know what? I think he's very smart. Because he's clicked on that he's wrong and he's realised it and he's proved himself wrong. So whether it's going to come out.
Yeah.
So you might as well be the one that gets the cat out of the bag, because someone's going to find it in a few years or in a few months or whatever. I don't know how quickly things move. So, what he did, and that's a very honest and genuine thing he done, because a lot of people will try and suppress the truth.
Yeah.
They'll try and hide it and for their ego and, what are they, so you can see this person is definitely for the community of what he's trying to do. He actually truly cares about it more than he cares about himself or his ego. But it's, his reputation, but if anything, it's emboldened his reputation and improved his reputation, because it takes guts, man. People don't do that. No,
they don't. I had a real life example of someone actually not admitting their fault via email with me, and it just made me look at them funny a little bit. So an organisation booked me to do 2 half-day workshops, but in the same day.
Okay.
So one's in the morning, one's in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So the lady organising it, she knows that it's 2 half days.
Yeah.
But it's for their client.
Yes.
So their client has only booked 1 half day. Yeah. So they've only created the room available for 1 half day. So when the ladies my contacts come back to confirm with me, and then she's like, yeah, we've booked it, we're good to go. I'm like, but hang on a minute, it's only half day.
Yeah.
We've spoken about having 2 half days. Like, so in theory, she should have went straight back to the client and said, oh, no, we need the room for 2 half days because that's what we agreed. But she skipped that step. She's just come straight to me and like told me that they've booked it.
Yeah.
And I've pulled her up and be like, well, hang on a minute. Like,
Yeah.
So anyway, we've changed the date. So I've gone back and been like, like, it's a bit confusing because, you knew the information. You knew that it was supposed to be 2 half days. So like, why didn't you? Like, what happened? Like,
sort it out.
And she come back, she just basically put all the blame on the client.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay.
Zero accountability.
It's like, okay, is that what we're doing? and to go on to the back of a quote that the book says was, every time you encounter new information, you have a choice. You can attach your opinions to your identity and stand your ground in stubbornness, or you can operate more like a scientist, defining yourself as a person committed to the truth, even if it means proving yourself wrong.
Yeah.
And then the quote on here as well is, there's no benefit to me for being wrong for longer. it's much better if I change my beliefs sooner.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. There's no benefit to me for being wrong longer.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Damn.
No, I think in that environment, I mean, it depends. You can see why people do this.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
reputational wise and stuff like that. You know, she's dealing with a, who knows, innit? But it's just interesting because the lack of accountability. But in the environment, I was trying to find it when I was talking, but depending on the environment, maybe the client, you know, who knows? And you don't know what she was maybe saying she might just be putting blame on both of you to each other. You don't know. Like, she might be saying to them, oh, he messed up, and saying to you, they messed up. And really, she messed up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is.
Yeah.
How did you sort of like?
No, it's rearranged.
Yeah, okay.
It's rearranged.
Oh, so actually
and it's sorted now.
Yeah.
But I guess.
Did you pull her up on it?
No, I've left it.
Yeah.
But they know, innit? And also that person's manager was in the chain, and they've emailed me to be like, oh, we apologize for any confusion, blah blah. Like, it's all sorted. It's all fine. Yeah. But I guess the point I was making was just like their inability to just take accountability or rethink about. Yeah. Oh, actually, I should have checked.
Yeah, these things happen, man.
Yeah.
These things happen. But I think there's a part in it, I was trying to find it, where it talks about like working environments and leadership. And I think if you create an environment as a leader where people are allowed to make mistakes, they actually make less. And if you create I'll find it in a moment. And if you create an environment where people are scared to make mistakes, they make more, but then they don't take accountability for them, and then and they try and keep it secret, try and suppress it and stuff like that. So that is that kind of lends itself to that a little bit. It's not exactly
100%. And I think you're talking about chapter 10, creating psychologically safe work environments. Yes,
psychologically safe teams. Yeah, report. So psychologically safe teams report more errors, but actually make fewer errors. Yeah. And then psychologically unsafe teams, people hide their mishaps to avoid penalties. Yeah. So again, I mean, I don't know enough about that one, but this is that kind of just lends itself to that. And I think as a leader, you want to create that environment. Even again, I always look through the lens of like, all right, as a friend, as a brother, as a son, as a dad, it's like that with my son as he gets older. You want to create the environment where he's not scared to make mistakes, but he's also and then we could talk through those mistakes, and we can work on it from that. Not just like, oh, I can't, because there's a lot of things that we don't speak about, or parents don't speak about, that if they did, maybe the outcomes would be different.
Yeah. And that comes on to a book that we're going to review in a couple episodes.
Yes, nice segue.
Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that one. And like.
But there's always a little, like, if you pay attention to the show, there's always a little clue that says what book it's going to be. That's all I'm going to say.
And if you've made it this far into the video, just press the like. Come on, man. Just press the like. Help us out. Support us. We're a small YouTube channel. Support the ting. Press like. But yeah, creating psychologically safe work environments. Yeah. Managers who show vulnerability can increase psychological safety at work. Here's the key word though. Providing they are seen as competent. So if you're, seen as competent, and then you show vulnerability to when you do make mistakes, that creates psychological safety around your team. Yes. If you're incompetent and you're always making mistakes, and then you also show vulnerability, and then it doesn't work. Yeah. So you need to be competent for it to work.
I think that's a key point, and that can go over people's heads. That can go over people's heads.
Yeah. And I guess it talks about, leaders, like when you have it, when you're a good leader, you see mistakes as opportunities to learn. Mm-hmm. You have a willingness to take risks and fail, speaking your mind in meetings, openly sharing your struggles, trust in your teammates and supervisors, and sticking your neck out at times of need. Yeah. And then when you don't have it, it's like seeing mistakes as threats to your career, unwilling to rock the boat, keeping your ideas to yourself, only touting your strengths, fear of your teammates and supervisors, and having your head chopped off.
Yeah, no, I think the final part on that, talks about the kind of culture. So you've got performance culture and learning culture. So in performance culture, excellence of execution was the paramount value. it can lead to overconfident cycles where you miss opportunities to rethink. And then you've got learning culture. Growth is the core value and rethinking cycles are routine. In learning cultures, organizations innovate more and make fewer mistakes. So again, it's like, what's the culture of the organization or the company or the team? Or it could be a number of things. What's the culture? Is it a learning one or is it a performance one? Because again, it goes back to that, this is the way you've always done it.
Yeah.
All right, this is, and it performs reasonably well, or it did at that time when it was when it was created. Now, but I think we have to go into situations willing to learn, even trying to put, it says it in the book as well, like, how can I be wrong? That's why, I mean, we joke about it, obviously, like, off camera, but whenever if we're doing stuff, or if I'm doing something where I'm presenting or I'm delivering or whatever, I'm poking holes in everything I do. I'm like, okay, what would a hater say? What would this person say? What would that kind of thinker say? And it doesn't mean I might change anything, but I've already sort of I've kind of prepared myself for that potential outcome. Or again, I might just be like, no, actually, I can't, this is wrong. Yeah. And I try and do that prior to being in a position where I might get caught off guard. You see what I mean?
I think this is why as well, it's good to ask other people for advice and like other people to check over work or look at, or get second opinion or even third, fourth and fifth opinions. And then it just helps you to see things from different angles and different perspectives rather than just being tunnel visioned in your own thoughts, because it's hard to challenge your own way of thinking. Mm-hmm. You can do it and ask yourself certain questions. Okay, like you said, what would the haters say in this scenario, or what would so-and-so say, and challenge yourself. But by asking for advice and support and other people, they can help you rethink your own your own message.
I think as you kind of develop as a person, you realize that it sounds so obvious, but everyone thinks differently. Like and like that was like in the sense of the way me and you might look at something, and it's the same thing, we just look at it for different ways. So as I've got older, I've realized, like, okay, literally, what would Tyler say about this? What does Tyler think? We talk about these kind of things, because you might enlighten me on something that, I never even saw it that way. Even I've been doing some mentoring at some schools, a part of one of the projects we're funded for, and I was showing them different adverts that different corporations or different organizations do, different companies. And then there was an advert that I thought was really good. Like, I was like, wow, this is a good advert. It lines in line with what I'm trying to teach. The kids ripped it apart. And I was like, wow, you lot are right. This advert's dead. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just putting out little things. And these kids, they're like 14. Yeah. Like a group of 8 of them. And they're just like, nah, this advert's not really good because this and that. And they put it out. And I said, you know what? I didn't even think of it like that. Yeah. And I put this as, and it looked, what was good, because it looked as, like, I could have just like taken some praise from this, because it looked as though I had one bad advert and then one good advert. But really, in my mind, I had 2 good adverts. You know what I'm saying? But one was not good, and when they showed me why I wasn't good, and I agree with them, and then one was good. So, and again, that was like, if I could have gone into preacher mode and been like, nope, this is a good advert because this is why I think it's a good advert, because this. I am this person. I've got this experience and la la la. So yeah, man. But that's just one example of putting things out there. Yeah. Getting different. It's good, because otherwise, again, you go back into that echo chamber where you just go to, or what some people tend to do is they'll just go to people that they think will agree with them. Yes. Do you know what I mean? They'll just go to someone that thinks, oh yeah, I think this. Yeah, me too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, fair. I thought as much anyway. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's always, I'm constantly, I think I ask you for an opinion on things a lot of time. I'm constantly going, and the people that will be honest with you, it's good. It's a good way to sort of examine what your thought process, or examine your beliefs. Yeah.
And I think, just one of the things you showed there as well was the kids are 14. You can learn from anyone of any 100%. Age. It just because you're the adult and they're the child, it doesn't mean that you're right and they're wrong. Facts. You can be wrong just as much as they can be wrong. Yeah. There's another story that I wanted to touch on before we come on to the power of the pages. Yeah. Was the story of the black man in the park bird watching. Yeah. And this clip went viral, but the reason why I want to touch on it was because the guy, his name is Christian Cooper, and his emotional intelligence after the situation is kind of what I wanted to highlight. So we'll go on to the situation. If you haven't seen it, there was a viral clip that happened a few years ago.
Yeah, was it during COVID? It was during lockdown.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, because about 5 years ago, yeah. So Christian Cooper was bird watching in an area where dogs were supposed to be on a dog leash. A lady comes by with an unleashed dog and he asks her to put the leash on the dog. She declines and she decides to call 911 instead and says a black man is threatening her life. This lady's a white woman, by the way, just for context. Christopher recorded the interaction on his phone to highlight, that this lady was being ridiculous. And the incident went viral. And the incident highlighted a painful history of black men being falsely accused by white women. The lady later apologized. And this is the part that I like about Christopher. Mm. When Christopher was asked if she is a racist, his response was open-minded. He said, I think her apology is sincere. I'm not sure if in that apology she recognizes that while she may not be or consider herself a racist, that particular act was definitely racist. Mm-hmm. Granted, it was a stressful situation, a sudden situation, maybe a moment of spectacularly poor judgment, but she went there. Is she a racist? I can't answer that. Only she can answer that, going forward with how she conducts herself and how she chooses to reflect on the situation and examine it. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I like that, because it's easy to just say that lady's a racist. Yeah. He could easily say, yeah, she was acting racist. She used my colour against me to call the police.
Very dangerous what she did, though.
It was extremely dangerous.
Very dangerous. He could have died.
And reading a book, I'm like, you're a racist. She's a racist. You know what I mean? Reading a book. But his answer allowed me to think, well, actually, maybe she isn't a racist. Maybe she just panicked in the situation and she got scared and, I don't know. But it allowed me to rethink about it and think, okay, maybe she's not a racist. And he was emotionally intelligent enough to not label her as that and just leave it open-minded. So I really like that.
I think this is where, like, now I'm kind of holding a mirror up to myself, because obviously these things, with racism, things even like, these things, like they are very triggering.
Yes.
For me personally and for a lot of people. Even with the context, the fact that even being in America, I was around the time of George Floyd, history, we're not going to go into that now, but so it's very triggering. But at the same time, I'm holding a mirror up to myself and I'm like, okay, Chris, look at yourself and think about things you said about how you sort of try, can you find any empathy in this? So then I'll start thinking about 0 degrees of empathy. And I'm like, okay, in that book, it talks about there's reasons why people's brains work in certain ways, and I'm not trying to justify what she did or whatnot, but it's like, okay, so this person has, as in Christopher's his name, right?
Christian Cooper.
Christian Cooper. So he has given the most balanced response, which I think is actually for the best, because he's right. So I actually commend him, because he has every right. He had every right to call her any name he wanted.
Yeah.
But he chose to be classy and he chose to be thoughtful. And as well, I think overall for black men, he's actually shown us in a light of that we are thoughtful and we're intelligent and we can be balanced. So I think he's done us a service in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Because he could have come out all guns blazing and everyone would be standing right beside him.
Yeah.
So I think that's but nonetheless, things like that are very triggering.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think, Chris, and I commend him, because I think I don't know if I honestly, to be honest with you, I don't think I could be as balanced as he was
in that situation.
When I think about the stakes at play. But big up to him, and I think that's sort of like that's showing me, like, okay, I've still got work to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Personally, because you shouldn't really let. This didn't even happen to me. You know what I'm saying? It didn't even happen to me. But it's all jokes aside, it's like, okay, so that's just, and this is why we kind of talk about things and we read these books and we do that. We're trying to, you know, and it's good to have a mirror held up to yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? It's good to see yourself.
Yeah.
And analyze how you deal with situations or feel about situations.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like you said, he held a mirror up to me as well in that situation, because, like I said, as I was reading it, I was like, nah, she's clearly a racist, but actually maybe not. So anyway, without dwelling on that too much, what's the power of these pages?
The power of the pages. I like the concepts, you know. I like. There's so much stuff we didn't even speak about.
Yeah, so much. Which means you can buy the book, and you know, if you've been tweaked, buy the book. The link's in the description box.
I don't think you'll be disappointed if you buy this book at all.
No,
at all. So yeah, for me, I think just thinking about how you go into a discussion, how you go into a situation, how you go into a debate, how you go into an argument, how you go into a disagreement. Are you the preacher? Are you the prosecutor? Are you the politician? Are you the cult leader? Are you the scientist? And then which one's going to serve you best? Which one's going to serve you best? What are you willing to, you know, because you could either be proved right or wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like sometimes, I'm not going to waffle on for too long, but you know, sometimes I've been to seminars or talks about things, or we've watched videos on YouTube and stuff like that, or we've watched, you know, we're learning, and it does one of a few, either you learn something new or it confirms something that you already knew. And it's like, okay, so sometimes I'll go somewhere or I'll read something and I'll be like, okay, you know what? I didn't actually know that. That's taught me something new. Or it'll be like, well, I knew all this already, but it's good to know that I'm on the right track and I'm still in the right crest of the wave, as I'm still up to date. So there's two. So are you a politician? Are you a preacher? Are you a prosecutor? Are you a cult leader, or are you a scientist? And which one's going to serve you best?
That's your power.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my power is really just the ability to trying to have the ability to challenge yourself, to rethink what you believe to be true, and, you know, always having that curiosity about decisions that you make, and things that you believe to be true, because not everything is black and white, you know. So that's really my power. Just challenge yourself, challenge your mind, think again, as the title says. Star rating. This was my book. Oh, difficulty rating first, actually. Difficulty rating. This was my book. So I'll go first. Difficulty rating, I'll give it a 2.5. It was, the stories kept me engaged. Yeah, sometimes, it wasn't a difficult read, but it also wasn't like a super easy read. So yeah, I just give it a 2.5. I think it was all right read.
I think for me, you know, we read it so long ago now, I can't remember how hard it was to read, but I'll give it a 2, because I don't think it was hard.
Yeah.
I read it quite quickly, actually. I don't think it was hard. Yeah, 2. It wasn't a hard read.
Okay.
So I'll give it a 2.
Star rating. Now, listen, if you don't give this above a certain number, we need discussions.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm giving this. I want to put it up, to be honest, after this conversation, but I'm going to stick with what I have written down here. But I'm giving this a 4. This is a strong 4. This is a good read and a good book with good information. And if Chris says anything lower than a 4, he's fired.
Wow. Where did you get the authority to fire me? Who gave you that authority?
Listen, think about it. Rethink. Think again.
Because you're going to make me be stubborn and just pick I'm going to say my true number regardless. Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm
finished.
done,
boss? No. Do I be influenced by the conversation or not? I'm thinking now. I'm going to give this a 5, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 5. This is a book that I would encourage people to read. You know, even like there was a part in there when it talks about parenting and disagreements that parents have, and says that children learn from arguing in front of your kids isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's how you argue.
Yeah.
Well, not argue, disagreement, sorry.
Yeah.
So how you disagree. If you disagree in a respectful way, it's good because it's showing you, it's modelling so many things to your child.
Yeah.
You know, so that you've gone from the boardroom, you've gone from society issues, you've gone to parenting, and there's a whole lot of other examples in there. So yeah, this is a book I'd recommend. I think any stage of your life you're in. It's a 5, and I haven't given a 5 up for a while, I don't think.
No,
but yeah, this is a 5.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wicked. Well, next episode, we will be reviewing The Courage to Be Disliked. And if you enjoyed this episode, I think you'll really enjoy Difficult Conversations, which I'll put on the screen. I think it's episode 45, because that is, a fantastic book, and one that is kind of along the lines of this book, but more in a conversational sense.
Yes.
But this is The Power of Pages.
And we review books.
Delayed, yeah?
Pause
Put
it a
your
little
God.
bit. Yeah.